Okay, then we can do English first then, but hold on, are you recording?
Yeah, I just started recording.
Okay. All right, so the first question is, how do the arts help us understand the world?
How does the art help us understand the world? So first of all, let's start by what is the meaning of art. And I think that the meaning of art is just everything. I mean, it depends on the perspective of the person perceiving the art, but normally everything can be art. I mean, you can be looking at a simple chair, like, look, I'll show you something. That simple chair, and you can call that art because it's different. It stands out from what you normally know. So I think that if everything can be art for you, then the perspective of the world changes because, well, in the manner you perceive things, it's the manner that you're gonna think and you're gonna act towards that way. So if an artistic, I don't know, painting makes you feel something, that probably your mood is gonna change towards that feeling. And such actions or also happen from I don't know if you see art or if even like I don't know things you eat might be also artistic expressions. So everything
Okay.
can be art, then everything can affect you in some way and might change the way that you think. And because of the way that you think, it's the way that you act. So in the end, it also affects how you act.
Do you think that someone needs, like, the artist needs to have intention for something to be art, or is it just the viewer decides?
I think that it's both because you can have I don't know someone make random things up that for them they're not art but simple just things, and someone can see them and feel something and make them art. But also you can have an artist that makes art and that they consider it's art, but then you see someone that says no, for me that's not art. So it depends on the thing, the object, but also depends on both ends of the intention of the creation for it to be art.
Okay. Well, do you think like a tree is art?
I mean, maybe it might be for some people. For me, I I think that it's art because it's something that nature gives us that we normally have for granted. But once you take a look at it and you take, I don't know, you touch it, you feel it, you start seeing how it changes with time. I mean, you might consider it art. I might consider it art.
Mm. I think there needs to be some intention behind something to be art. Like, I feel like the artist needs to like
Give
want for it to be art, because I don't think if everything is art, then what is art?
If you use constantly the word art, it loses its feeling.
Yeah.
But also it depends on the person perceiving that thing. I mean, it depends really on the person on how they think and how they act towards something so that they can see or feel something that is art. For you, I don't know, what is a perfect example of art?
Um well, I think a lot of things can be art. I don't think that a regular tree could be art because no one made it art, no one wanted it to be art. But if someone did something to it, someone took a picture of it, or if someone manipulated it somehow, then yes, that could be art because somebody intentionally did something for it to be art. So I think the artist needs to have some intention for it to be art.
So then in nature, what can be art without nature intending it to be art? I mean, nature doesn't think before it makes something to make it art. So in nature, what can be art for you?
I don't think nature is art.
Then if someone takes a picture, then that is art. But
Yeah,
but then if you see it by your own eyes, that's not art.
no.
Okay.
Okay, I can ask a different question. Um, to what extent, oh, whoops, my phone fell. To what extent is artistic knowledge something which cannot be expressed in any other way?
Wait,
Are ways of knowing employed and radically what?
can you repeat the question?
Yeah. To what extent is artistic knowledge something which cannot be expressed in any other way?
To what way is artistic expression? That's a tricky question. What do you think in that question?
Yeah, I feel like you can't really answer that question if you say everything is art.
Yeah.
Then it's everything. I think artistic knowledge. Well, I mean, what you were saying, I kind of agree with it. I feel like the audience has different reactions towards art, and so artistic knowledge can have many different interpretations that other things like math can't have.
That's a tricky question. I really don't know how to respond to that. But as you're saying, I mean, you also have to consider the artist that created that thing for it to have an intention of art. That's why you need to consider both ends of the thing. I mean, the receiver and
Yeah.
making the thing, object, or whatever it is, and that's how you get to know that that's art.
Okay, I'll move on to another question. We can go to communication and media now.
Okay.
What is the difference between data, information, knowledge, and wisdom?
Data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. For me, data sounds like something that's backed up by science. So that might have a bit more of veracity and it to be realistic. And then if you see, if you hear knowledge, and that's someone's, I mean, reasoning, thinking, someone's interpretation of things, and well, there's a clear difference because in one you might be able to be backed up by science perfectly fine, which is the data, and then on the knowledge part, I mean, people have flaws, and if it's not checked by science, let's say, then that information might be manipulated by somebody's mind, and then it might lose the credibility on that thing. So that's the main difference in things. And I actually notice a lot of times when you're looking for information that maybe the same thing, same subject, same I don't know, analysis might be biased because of someone that's using their own opinion and someone that's using their scientific knowledge, and that's backed up with some numbers or some studies that prove something.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, data sounds like something you would like collect with like scientific instruments, scientific knowledge, but then knowledge is kind of, yeah, it's different. It has your own opinions in it. What about wisdom?
Oh, I forgot about wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Well, wisdom. I mean, well, wisdom enters in kind of the middle of it because you might have the ability of having the knowledge to create an opinion, a strong, valid opinion, but you're still using. It's not as strong as data. I mean, it sounds stronger than knowledge because wisdom sounds and hears like you have the information and you have that the required I don't know, thing to have a valid opinion. But then again, it falls into the category of you knowing something, and there's also misconceptions that are needed to take into account for information to be strongly valid. I don't know. What do
Yeah.
you think about wisdom?
Yeah, I think like knowledge is a little less scientific than data, and and relies less on just science and relies more on opinion. I think wisdom relies on opinion even more than knowledge does, and wisdom actually, I feel like, relies on experiences. As you experience more things, you become more wise.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The tree is letting some things fall, and Michael just all over the place.
What role does ethics play in technology, science, mathematics, and other areas of knowledge?
I just read an article in which, I mean, it's a really controversial topic, but they were studying the ethics of genes and how you can, I mean, it might be possible in the future that you can program your baby, let's say. I mean, you can give
Yeah.
eye color you want, give it the type of hair, the length of the eyebrow. I don't know. You can select details just by genetic modifications before they are born, and then, I mean, in some way, you can be reading that at your house and your couch and say, "Wow, that's so cool." But then, if you get into the ethic part, I mean, what's ethic about you changing nature and manipulating something like something so important like life? So then ethics plays a really important part on what should be done and what you be careful with. I mean, there's a lot of other things that you might do without getting into the theme, into the topic of intervening with ethics. But then again, I mean, you have people that don't take this into account. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that ethics does have to limit technology and science in a way so that it doesn't end up actually hurting people. And so that, I mean, I feel like we shouldn't be able to change nature in that way. And I was actually thinking about experimentation on people. That's very unethical, but a lot of people believe that we should do that because that'll help science go further. But then there's also the problem where we shouldn't be hurting people in that way.
Oh yeah, that's a really important topic because, I mean, is it ethical if well, if you volunteer for that experiment on you, then I mean that's your chance. But still, what you're doing on experimenting on people and then experimenting on animals too. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the ethical part in which an animal cannot defend themselves in a way that they can talk and say, "Oh no, I don't like this. Don't do this to me," as a human can do. So then you get into the ethical part of doing this, but then the ethical part divides into two. I mean, you can have shampoo companies testing on animals and they might not do any damage, and then you can have I don't know, pesticide companies testing on animals.
Yeah.
The product works, and then if you're harming the animal, so are both ethical or are both unethical, or is one acceptable and the other one not acceptable?
It's very difficult to tell, like, where we draw the line, how far we can go with animal experimentation. Because, yeah, we don't really know to what extent something is ethical.
I mean, ethics depends on the person also. So
Yeah.
maybe my ethics are not the same as yours and are not the same as the owner of the shampoo company. So then again, if you're running a company and you have uh, ethic, some ethic factors are different to the consumers, then should the consumer have any opinion on the ethics of the other person that's doing this? So that's another controversial topic.
Yeah.
How long have we been talking
Oh
here?
no, I haven't been timing. I think it's probably been long enough. We can switch to Espanol. Um, all these questions are in English, so. Oh, wait, I just lost the questions. Where'd they go?
Wait, let me just answer this message. I was in a robotics competition just now, and there's people over there. Wait. Okay, ready.
Okay.
Español, ¿verdad?
Sí. ¿Cómo lenguaje puede manipular personas?
¿Cómo el lenguaje puede manipular a personas?
Sí.
¿Cómo? Dime.
Pienso que en mi experiencia, a veces cuando estoy hablando en un lenguaje diferente, yo tengo una pensamiento muy diferente también, porque lenguajes diferentes tienen palabras diferentes y como la estructura de frases son diferentes también. Y entonces, cuando estás hablando en lenguajes diferentes, necesitas pensar diferente también, porque sí.
De hecho,
¿Qué?
algo relacionado con lo que dices, yo viví en China el año pasado
Oh,
y, y tenía un amigo de Costa Rica que con él hablaba español, pero con los demás yo hablaba inglés. Y él me decía, y me lo repetía mucho, que yo actuaba diferente cuando hablaba español con él y cuando hablaba inglés con otras personas. Entonces mi comportamiento cambiaba mucho y era muy notorio, era como si yo fuera dos personas, nada más con la manera en la que estoy hablando. Y es por lo mismo que dices, que son las expresiones, la manera de hablar, el tono, las palabras que se usan. Entonces es como si tú pensaras y actuaras diferente, o sea, pensaras en, tu mente se cambia en ese idioma en el que estás hablando y luego ya cuando cambias al otro idioma, tu mente se vuelve a cambiar. Entonces es como si fueran dos personas en uno.
sí, soy de acuerdo. Porque yo hablo una otra lengua, hindi, y yo uso esta lengua para hablar con mis abuelos, y pienso que yo actúo diferente cuando estoy hablando en hindi contra cuando estoy hablando en inglés. Sí. um, uh, ¿Qué es el papel de imaginación y intuición en las ciencias?
Imaginación y la intuición en la ciencia. Yo digo que la imaginación tiene mucho que ver en la ciencia porque, pues, para hacer un descubrimiento tienes que pensar en, bueno, qué vas a lograr, cómo le vas a hacer. Y pues para eso necesitas la imaginación, necesitas visualizar adelante en el futuro qué es lo que vas a querer para poder lograrlo. Entonces, la imaginación tiene mucha parte en las investigaciones, pero también la intuición, porque es la manera en la que uno se imagina las cosas, uno piensa las cosas, y de esta manera pues puede lograr su objetivo. El objetivo es logrado no solo por el querer hacer algo, pero pues, también en cómo se lo visualiza para lograr el objetivo, o para crear una cosa, o cualquier cosa relacionada con la ciencia.
Sí, estoy de acuerdo. Pienso que la imaginación cambia que personas van a crear con tecnología y la ciencia y si intuición influencia qué dirección tomamos con la ciencia también.
Pero también a veces puede ser un poquito mala la imaginación en la ciencia, porque pueden no ser verdaderos, porque la imaginación es muy grande, muy amplia. Entonces
Sí.
puedes imaginarte algo, pues que a veces no es posible y que la ciencia no lo puede, pues realizar, o al menos aún no lo puede realizar. Entonces deja a esa persona que se le imagina con unas, pues falsas esperanzas, porque pues la imaginación es muy grande, entonces puede, puede no completarse junto con la ciencia, y ahí es donde vienen los problemas, porque pues en la imaginación nos podemos imaginar cualquier cosa, podemos crear cosas falsas y también cosas verdaderas. Entonces ahí está la diferencia entre la ciencia, que puede probar las cosas verdaderas, y lo que no es verdadero.
Sí, pienso que personas en las ciencias necesitan ser realistas también y usan la más imaginación para pensar en ideas, pero ah, para necesitan pensar en qué pueden hacer en realidad también. ¿Cómo el media afecta a nuestras emociones y nuestras habilidades de tener razón?
¿Cómo afecta qué?
Uh, el media,
La
la media,
media.
sí, media.
Ajá.
Nuestras emociones y habilidad de tener razón.
Bueno, yo digo que un tema muy importante en es la manipulación de la información, porque, digo, las emociones vamos a reaccionar a cualquier cosa que no se nos diga, o que leamos, o que veamos. Entonces, en cierta parte, influye mucho, lo que veamos en estos lugares, porque nos crean unos sentimientos, y de ahí surgen ideas, y de ahí surgen pensamientos, pero también tenemos que tener en cuenta que la información que vemos a veces no es 100% real. Entonces ahí es donde pueden manipular las emociones para que nosotros, pues con esa falsa información que capaz si no existe, sintamos algo diferente a lo que en verdad es. No sé qué opines tú.
Sí, estoy de acuerdo, sí. Que vemos en televisión y en las noticias también pueden afectar cómo vemos el mundo y cómo vemos qué está pasando. Y sí, cuando hay una situación que las noticias están hablando que es muy drástica, um, podemos pensar, oh, es muy mal y no vamos a usar mucha razón porque vamos a escuchar a que están hablando en el medio.
O por ejemplo, hace unos años en donde en Estados Unidos había mucha información que decía que, que casi creo que decía todos los terroristas son árabes. Y de ahí las personas sentían esa emoción cuando veían a un árabe de ese árabe es terrorista. Y
Sí,
así no es cierto, en la del 99.9% de los casos no es cierto, pero la información que ellos leían, en donde nada más leían que todos los terroristas eran árabes, entonces el pensamiento de las personas dejaban atrás la razón y se iban por los sentimientos creados por esta información que manipulaba los sentimientos. Y ahí es donde los problemas empezaban a surgir, porque pues esa información, cómo lo cambia de todas las personas que constantemente estaban escuchando pues esta información.
sí. Cuando personas aquí ven muchas noticias de estas personas que son negativas, ellos solo van a pensar cosas negativas sobre el grupo de personas, pero no es la verdad. Cada persona no es mal. Y sí, es un problema muy mal aquí.
O también lo de los inmigrantes, en donde si yo voy a Estados Unidos y empiezo a hablar español y digo que soy mexicano, no me van a ver igual a si yo voy y hablo directamente inglés con ellos. Porque si yo hablo español con ellos, ellos inmediatamente van a pensar que soy un inmigrante, que soy malo, que voy a robarles trabajo. Pero si yo voy hablándoles inglés, pues muy probablemente su pensamiento va a ser diferente y me van a tratar como una persona normal. Y todo esto es creado por esos sentimientos que crea la información pues, que se le da a las personas.
Sí, también mis padres a veces tienen miedo de hablar en nuestra otra lenguaje en el público, pero porque ellos piensan que otras personas pueden pensar que es mal. Y sí, no es bien. Um, ¿Sabes cuánto tiempo hablemos?
Creo que llevamos en español 13 minutos.
¿Qué?
En español creo que llevamos 13 minutos.
¿13 minutos?
Sí.
Oh, es bien.
Y en inglés creo que también hablamos por 10 minutos.
¿Qué?
En inglés creo que también llevamos 10 minutos.
¿Cuántos?
10,
10.
sí, creo,
Es bien.
está bien.